Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. Well, I have an international topic today that has nothing to do with African American culture, except that these are the people who are responsible for us being in the Western Hemisphere. Their ancestors were some of the main players in the international event known as the transatlantic slave trade. They were in the thick of it. So here they are, sitting up at a tennis match at Wimbledon in South London in about 85-degree weather with their young prince, Prince George, wiping sweat and complaining about it being hot. And them telling him basically to suck it up. This is what you have to do when you're going to be the King of England. So I'm saying, bring back common sense and let a boy be a boy. Now this child is 8 years old. 8 years old, sitting up at a tennis match in 85-degree weather in an old man's suit, wiping back sweat. And his mom and dad telling him that this is your duty because you're going to be the King of England. This is what you have to suffer to be the King of England, maybe in 50 or 60 years. Now this is instructive because this is how early this kind of stuff gets started. If we wanted to call that white supremacy, we could say that this is the beginning of the indoctrination. You're going to be the king. You're going to be over people. And in the next 2 or 3 years, they're going to be taking him around to the Commonwealth countries, which is mostly made up of African and Caribbean people, and telling him, these are the people that you're going to be the king over. As they were taking him around, introducing him to the staff at Wimbledon, his mother introduced him to a security officer and told him that he was there to protect and keep everybody safe and make everybody happy and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. So he's there to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. So that's introducing him to the next level. The people that will protect them as they go about the world bothering people. Now, this is my interpretation of that. Now, this is the second part of it, and it adds even more weight to this 8-year-old. The British royal family operates on popularity, pageantry, ceremonies, and all of that kind of stuff. They need to be interesting. There needs to be some magic that emanates from these royal couples. Prince Charles doesn't have magic, but he has mystery. He's been into a lot of stuff. Princess Diana had magic. The Queen, when she was young, had magic. She was beautiful. She had a dashing prince. And Prince Philip. So there's magic emanating from them. William and Kate don't have any magic. So they have to drag out this little boy to bring magic, to bring attention. People are interested in a young child. He's a young prince. He's going to be the, air quotes, King of England. So he does have a particular kind of magic. He's attractive enough. He's mannerable. He looks like he's being groomed for the job. So that gives a lot of interest in the little boy. But there is no interest between the parents. They look like a regular, upscale, young white, middle class, upper class couple. But there is no magic. So they had to drag out their young son in 85-degree weather to make them look like an interesting family. And sure enough, when the British people were commenting on them being at Wimbledon, they were talking about the little boy. First of all, they were talking about how hot he looked and how inappropriately he was dressed. Many of them did. Now, some of them are always going to say whatever the Warriors do is right. You know, it's all right because it's all white. But some people pointed out that it's way too hot for this little boy to be sitting up here in these old men clothes. So I'm saying, why not just let Meghan Markle advise you? She would be able to tell you that this little boy should have on a white polo shirt, some white or black or blue Bermuda shorts that they wear in England, and call it a day. I remember Prince William's mother, Princess Diana, and she wanted those boys to be normal. She said, I want them to know what it's like to just be a normal boy. She would take them to the amusement parks and to McDonald's and fast food restaurants. She would take them to homeless shelters to see what the other side looked like, how other people live who were not as fortunate as they were. She wanted them to know what normalcy looked like. And that's also preparation for the job that they'll be doing. Not sitting around in a suit in the hot sun watching a tennis match. Let a boy be a boy. I am sure that there's a lot of perks and privileges that go along with being in the British royal family and being trained to be the King of England in 60 or 50 or however many years. But for right now, it just looks like a long and tedious journey for an 8-year-old. His great-grandmother is the queen. His grandfather will be king. His father will be king. Then, if the British royal family, the British monarchy holds up, he'll be the king. That's a long time down the road. That sounds like a lot of punishment to me for a young boy. So if he ever becomes the king of England, it'll be in 50 or 60 years. So he's got to walk around looking like an old man for 50 or 60 years till he becomes king. And they are fortunate because this young boy looks like, at least he looks like he's mannerable and agreeable, because the spare, as they call him, his little brother, is a handful. He clowned at that parade for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. So they better hope this one holds up. And I'm telling you, at the rate they're going, he's going to look like an old man by the time he's 25 years old, just like his father does, who's only 40 years old. And he could be anywhere from 40 to 60, and it would be believable. So I'm still saying, bring back common sense and let a boy be a boy. But that's what happens when you go around doing stuff like capturing people and sending them into slavery and ruining their lives. That's what happens. You get to a point where all reasoning and common sense flies out the window. You don't know what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. But anyway, I kind of feel sorry for this little boy. And I think that they really should rethink how they're going to dress him when he goes out in the public. Because it really is not fair to him. He's still only a child, 8 years old. An 8-year-old deserves better than this. So somebody needs to be advising the palace about what's appropriate for an 8-year-old boy in 2022. This has nothing to do with African American culture, but we live in a global community and everybody's talking about everybody else, and the decisions that they made in the past impact us to this day. So if I want to say that they don't know how to dress an 8-year-old boy, then I'm going to say that they don't know how to dress an 8-year-old boy for a tennis match. And I don't care how many people try to come to their rescue talking about he's going to be the king and he's in the king's uniform and he has to learn how to act like a king. That boy's 8 years old. It's going to be at least 50 years before he becomes king, if he becomes the king. And they should have some compassion for how he is now as a child. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Share the video. And as always, have a great day.